Welcome, and as we say at Texas A&M University and in Aggieland, howdy. Welcome to the Online Executive Master of Public Service and Administration Information Session. The EMPSA program, as it's called, it also has tracks in Homeland Security, Nonprofit Management, and Public Management. And this session is brought to you by the Bush School of Government and Public Service at Texas A&M University. I'm your webinar host. I'm Dr. Lisa Brown, and I'm the director of the Office of Extended Education here at the Bush School. And here at the Office of Extended Education, our role is to support the student to help them be successful. We work with you on admissions processes. Once you're an admitted student, we work with you as well and help you just navigate the different pieces of registering for courses, being successful in your courses, giving you the resources that you need to excel. Our office also supports the faculty. So we support the faculty with instructional design, assisting them in the creation of their online courses and in the continually update and management of the online courses. And then even alumni reach out to us and will ask us questions, and we help connect them to resources and other alumni as well. So we are a support unit to help you be successful as a student, and in particular as an online student. I'd also like to introduce Dr. Brian Nakamura, who has joined us today, and he is a faculty member in the Public Service and Administration Department. And Brian, would you mind saying a few words, introducing yourself and what you teach?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Brown. It's a pleasure to be here and support and represent the Executive Master's Program, Public Service and Administration. I've been here for about 5 years now, or going on my 5th year, and I currently teach public policy, public management, program evaluation, and state and local government. So exciting opportunities, and you have a tremendous faculty, staff, and students are just fantastic. So I can't speak highly enough about the students we have.
And of course, Dr. Nakamura is an outstanding faculty member. We're very thankful that he's a part of the Bush School of Government and Public Service. And Dr. Nakamura, thank you for joining us. I'll ask Brian to talk a little bit more later in the presentation. And also, as you have questions for Dr. Nakamura, you're more than welcome to drop those in chat. And then I would also like to introduce, we have an EMPSA, an Executive Master of Public Service and Administration alumnus joining us, David Coatney. He's an Aggie class of 2021. Whoop! And he is also Agency Director and CEO of the Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service. And David, would you please say a few words of welcome?
Hi, yes, thank you, Dr. Brown. I just really appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak to prospective students who are interested in attending the class. Obviously, I'm a little more long in the tooth in my career than some who are probably going to take this, and I have some unique experiences because of that. But it's a wonderful program, and anybody really looking not just to advance their career, but advance their knowledge base and interact with some very high caliber students and faculty, this is the right place to come. So I'm looking forward to hearing from the students.
Excellent. Thank you, David. And as we go along with this presentation, if you have any questions for David, please feel free to drop those in the chat. If during the presentation or even after the presentation, if you have any questions, please do contact our Recruitment and Advising Center. And that number is 1-866-988-2874. That's 1-866-988-2874. And our email address is bushschoolonline@tamu.edu. And we also have our program coordinator of student services joining us, Sarah. Sarah, would you say howdy to the group?
Howdy, everyone. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you, Sarah. Our agenda today. So we're going to talk a little bit about A&M, Texas A&M University, and the Bush School of Government and Public Service. We're going to talk about our reputation, our recognitions, our accreditation, and then we'll go over the curriculum. We'll talk about different careers that you can pursue with the EMPSA program, with the tracks in Homeland Security, Public Management, and Nonprofit Management. We'll also give Dr. Nakamura the chance to say a little bit more about the program, as well as Mr. David Coatney. So we'll ask him to talk about what his perceptions of what were the benefits and the takeaways from the program. And then we'll talk about applications, how to apply to the program, the cost, how you can fund your EMPSA program, and then we'll stop the recording and open it up to any general questions. But first, we wanted to talk a little bit about Texas A&M University. For those of you who may not be as familiar with Texas A&M, we are a Tier 1 research university. We're the first public university in Texas from 1876, and we're also a research-intensive flagship university. Only a few universities in the country are designated a land grant, sea grant, and space grant university like Texas A&M. We are a member of the Association of American Universities since 2001, and we're also among the nation's 5 largest universities, with an enrollment of 74,829 students in fall of 2022. So we're a very reputable, large university. And at Texas A&M University, I wanted to share with you that we have this website that's accountability.tamu.edu/recognitions. And on this website, it talks about the various achievements of Texas A&M University, as well as recognitions. I will be following up next week with these PowerPoint slides. So don't feel like you have to take notes, because we will be sending them to you. But on this particular PowerPoint slide, some of the notable facts is that we're ranked 7th in the nation in the best value schools category among the AAU universities. And we're also 11th in the nation and 5th among public universities in overall Money Magazine's ranking. So we have a lot of great accolades to Texas A&M University. Now, the Bush School of Government and Public Service, we have 3 departments within the Bush School. So we have a Department of Public Service and Administration, we have a Department of International Affairs, and then we also have a Department of Political Science. We also have various research institutes. We have 3 institutes, 3 centers, and 5 special programs. Our vision for the Bush School of Government and Public Service is inspiring excellence in the noble calling of public service. So our school's namesake is George H.W. Bush, and that's the 41st president. And his philosophy was that public service is a noble calling. And it really is a belief that continues to shape all aspects of our curriculum, research, and public service, so that public service is worthwhile and a very needed area for individuals to pursue. We are a nonpartisan school. Even though our namesake is the 41st president, there's many different individuals with various different beliefs and political philosophies, but the thing that brings us together really is that working toward, making a better world and helping and pursuing public service. So our mission of our school is to educate, to explore, and to engage. So we, of course, want to focus on education and educating our students, but we explore through building of knowledge, through various research and problem solving. And then we also engage with the communities around us through that lifelong commitment to public service. The Bush School has been increasing in rankings as well. You can learn more about our specific Bush School of Government and Public Service rankings at bush.tamu.edu/about. And so here recently from U.S. News and World Report, the data set from 2023, we were ranked 6th of public universities and 8th in Homeland Security. We're also 8th we're in the nation, as I mentioned, for Homeland Security. We're in the top 10% of graduate public affairs schools in the nation. And then we've also been ranked as first in the nation for the best value executive online Master of Public Service and Administration program by Value Colleges 2020. So some excellent rankings there. But something that's important for you to know about is that our Executive Master of Public Service and Administration program is accredited by SACS-COC, which is the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. But we're also accredited specifically in public service and public administration by NASPA. And that's the Network of Schools of Public Policy, Affairs, and Administration. And that really represents the global standard in public service education. So as a part of that accreditation, we make sure that our students, that our curriculum follows certain guidelines and standards to make sure it's a very rigorous curriculum. And it really sets the precedent for a high quality program and high quality educational experience. So specifically about the EMPSA program, the program is an online master's program, and it's 39 credit hours or 13 courses. Now, the courses are all online, but keep in mind you have 2 separate required residency weeks. And in those residency weeks, you come to campus for a week and you get to meet all your faculty, you get to meet your colleagues and get a good solid introduction to the program. And then so that's one of the residency weeks. And then you also have a residency week towards the end of your program when you're about to set forth on your research project, your capstone research project. You come back again to work with faculty and your colleagues to form a group. And in that capstone research problem, you research a real world problem. You have a client that is either going to be a government client, or it can be a public service nonprofit client, and you work on a real world problem and come up with potential solutions to the problem that you're investigating. So online, you can work on your schoolwork any time of day or night. But keep in mind, you're still going to have deadlines. You're still going to have assignments every week. So you will be working on your coursework each week. It is a very rigorous program, but the flexibility comes in is that you don't have set class times during the week where you have to drop everything and come to class. So all online, and then those 2 separate 1-week residency weeks. Those residency weeks are required, and they do require you to be physically in the classroom, working together with your colleagues. The residency weeks are offered in College Station, Texas, but we also have a residency week option in the fall semester that's in Washington, D.C., if you so choose to pursue that residency week. To apply to the EMPSA program, you do need 5 years of public service experience, with 3 of those years being at the mid to upper level. So what that means on that 3 years at the mid to upper level, that means you're managing people or you're working with budgets and managing budgets. So again, you need that 5 years public service experience with 3 at the mid to upper level. A frequently asked question that we get, does military experience count for public service experience? Absolutely. So if you do have military experience, that counts toward that public service requirement. Also in the program, you will choose a track, and the 3 tracks that we offer are Homeland Security, Nonprofit Management, or Public Management. We have that that final applied capstone project with a government agency or a nonprofit. You may transfer up to 12 credit hours maximum with approval once you're into the EMPSA program, into the program. So if you previously completed a Bush School graduate certificate in Homeland Security, Nonprofit Management, or Public Management, that credit can potentially transfer to the related track. And you can also transfer up to 2 courses, graduate courses from an accredited institution, as long as the course is a curriculum match with what you're transferring it to. So in other words, if you have a Homeland Security graduate course that you did not use in a degree, you can potentially transfer that credit to one of your Homeland Security graduate course electives. So keep in mind, though, that transfer credit, you can only transfer a maximum of 4 courses. So, for example, you could transfer 2 Bush School graduate certificate courses and potentially 2 other courses that you that are graduate level. You made an A or B in and have that curriculum match. All right. And in regard to Residency Week, and I mentioned this before, we do offer the Residency Weeks in College Station, Texas. And those Residency Weeks in College Station are offered in spring and summer. And then the Washington, D.C. Residency Week is offered in the fall. Our next Residency Weeks that we have coming up is the spring 2024, and that's January 29th through February 2nd, 2024. And then summer 2024 in College Station, that's June 3rd through 7th, 2024. And then fall 2024, the Residency Week is in Washington, D.C., and that's a tentative date of September 9th through 13th, 2024. So those are our upcoming Residency Weeks. Students register for once you apply. So let's say, for example, you're applying for spring. Typically, the student will go ahead and start that 601 Residency Week once they have been admitted for the semester. So if you're admitted for spring, you'll start your Residency Week in spring. If you're admitted for summer, you typically start your Residency Week in summer. And that's so that you can go ahead and meet your faculty, get oriented to the program. So that 601 course, the PSAA 601 Public Service Foundations, that's the course that has the associated Residency Week with it. And we did get a good question in chat. Is work in the public school system, does that count as public service? And yes, it does. So great question. And as far as if you are interested in the EMPSA program and you don't quite meet that 5 years public service experience yet, we do have online graduate certificates, and sometimes prospective students will pursue that online graduate certificate while they are gaining more experience to apply to the program. So great questions. What are the benefits of an EMPSA degree? So, of course, you get a master's degree once you successfully complete with a grade point of 3.0 and above from Texas A&M University and the Bush School of Government and Public Service. On your master's degree, it doesn't note online, it just reads Master of Public Service and Administration. Your transcript from Texas A&M University will note that you completed the executive program of the Master of Public Service and Administration. Also, when you graduate, you'll also get a Bush School document that notes your Master of Public Service and Administration accomplishment, as well as the track that you pursued. Some of the benefits also include networking with your fellow faculty, students, and alumni. I'm always telling prospective students and students, when you are a student, be sure you talk with your faculty. If there is a certain career path you want to pursue, let them know that you're interested in it and start building those networks, because sometimes faculty have some great contacts that they can introduce you to help you get into that field. So definitely you want to use your colleagues and your faculty for that networking and let them know what your career goals are. Also, you'll be a part of the Texas A&M University Aggie Network. We have an extraordinarily strong association of former students. And if you haven't heard about it, we have the Aggie Ring, and our master's graduates are able to order their Aggie Ring once they're 75% of the way complete. But when you have that Aggie ring on, I've been at airports before, and other Aggies will see it and start talking to me. So the Aggie Network is a very strong, wonderful network to be a part of. We have Aggie clubs all over the United States, all over the world. And when you are an Aggie, they are very welcoming of other Aggies, even just visiting for an Aggie club meeting. And I've known Aggies who've gotten jobs through their Aggie clubs. So there are some really great opportunities through our former student network. Also, you can't miss out on the knowledge that you'll gain. Our faculty are amazing. They're both scholars with the requisite academic credentials, but they're also practitioners. And so they bring a lot of information and experience to the table, and they're wonderful in the role that they play in instructing students. Some of the things that you'll learn through the program include critical thinking skills. Definitely, this program has a lot of writing. So often a faculty member will have a question, and usually there's about 2 discussion questions a week. Sometimes there are as many as 3 or 4, where the faculty member asks you a question, you have to investigate it, come back with a thoughtful response, cite your sources, and you discuss as a whole class on that threaded discussion board the topic. And there's also quite a few projects, essay exams, and that's how a lot of our assessments are done. But you'll definitely refine those communication, those writing skills, and we have a lot of resources to help you. We have Bush School Writing Center, we have a Texas A&M Writing Center, and just a plethora of resources through Texas A&M. You'll also refine your research skills. So we have sessions about the library, Texas A&M Library. You'll learn to effectively research the topics that you need to investigate. You'll also learn more budgetary management. You'll refine your leadership expertise. We have an optional program that we offer students that's called the Dean's Certificate in Leadership. And so you'll have the opportunity to participate in that leadership program, which is offered remotely, and earn a certificate, a Dean's Leadership Certificate. So there are some great opportunities through the program, and also through your final applied research project. You'll have the opportunity to work with a real world client and plan a project with a group, and it's a group project, and problem solve. So there's a lot that you will learn throughout the program. And now I'd like to ask Dr. Brian Nakamura to talk a little bit. And Dr. Nakamura, can you share kind of, because you're both a scholar and practitioner, and so can you share your experience as far as your city management experience and how you got into academia, and some of the knowledge that you bring to the table?
Oh, well, Well, thank you, Dr. Brown, and to give a little bit of background, and it's on my bio and on the school's website, but I spent about 25 years in public service as a city manager, 21 of those 25 years in various cities on the West Coast predominantly. Decided that I wanted a career shift and was very fortunate to work with a mayor who was a tenured faculty person at the University of California, and he solicited me to help build a master's program. And I had been teaching for years, so I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to break ground on that and explore opportunities and options. And I was blessed with going to the University of Arkansas for a couple of years to be with my son, and then was given the opportunity to serve at the Bush School, which has been just a phenomenal opportunity. And I think maybe to share a little bit about the academic side, I think Dr. Brown put it quite well that yes, this is not an easy program. The difficulty level is high because it is a valued academic adventure as much as it is a practitioner adventure. One of the things we love about the EMPSA program is that you're bringing a wealth of knowledge and experience both on the academic side already, as well as on the practitioner side. And I think all of you are here today because you're lifelong learners and you want to use these opportunities to either promote within your organization or just gain knowledge and what I call become a more thorough or developed academic, a practitioner with academic background. And so I think it's a great opportunity for all of you. I'm just amazed when I sit in these classes that the depth and breadth of knowledge that's shared, everything has an application, and that theory that you learn will be applied somehow. And that's one of the core goals and objectives of our program, I believe, and I'll emphasize that through Dr. Brown and Ms. Rivera, is that we are here because we want to build a better society, whether it's economically, socially, environmentally. We're here as nonprofit, as public service agencies, and even private. Now, a lot of questions I get from potential candidates is, well, I have this degree in communications. How does that apply? You'd be surprised at how well communications is so important in the School of Public Service and Administration and in the field. Many of you are already practitioners, so there's a depth and breadth of skill sets that come to the table. And we're lifelong learners, so we love that component. And yes, it's rigorous, but one of the things that you will find that is so tremendously opportunistic is that if you were to reach out to our EMPSA students, our on-ground, in-residence, full-time master students, you will find that the classes mirror each other. So the learning that you will achieve throughout your time here at the Bush School will be the same as a on-ground master's program. So there's no real difference other than, as Dr. Brown said, we have a little bit more flexibility. So for example, the courses I teach, I recognize that many of you are working professionals. You have family commitments, other obligations professionally. And so my office hours are virtual, online, in the evening time to make it easy for all of you. I usually am available on weeknights and definitely always on the weekends. And I think other faculty members are similar to that because they recognize we have to balance a lot of things as working professionals. So hopefully that helps because we definitely enjoy the teaching opportunity, but I also think we enjoy the learning from all of you. So I hope that answers some of the questions. I'm glad to answer any more questions. My email address is simple. It's bnakamura@tamu.edu. And if you ever want to talk to me or chat with me about the program on an academic side, my cell phone number is 530-624-1000. You can call me anytime. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nakamura. We sure appreciate that. And if you do have questions for Dr. Nakamura, please feel free to put them in the chat, or you can stay tuned until after the presentation and have a chance to visit with him as well. But thank you for sharing your background and and a little bit more about how you manage the class. So I appreciate that. All right. So next, I would like to cover just very briefly the curriculum and what you can expect. So the core curriculum that we have is 21 credit hours, and that's the courses that everybody takes in the program. And so those core courses are the Foundations of Public Service. That's a required course, and that includes that 1 week in residence towards the beginning of the program. Then we have Public Policy Formation, Economic Analysis, Program Evaluation, Quantitative Methods in Public Management 1, and the other required course is your capstone seminar course that you'll take towards the end of your time in the program. You take it the 2 semesters essentially before you graduate, because it's a 2-semester capstone. So you have your capstone where you go to residency week and you form your teams, and then you take PSAA 676, which is capstone 6 or capstone 2, excuse me. So you have a back-to-back capstone. So for 2 semesters, you are working with a client, researching with your group and your team, and you take that capstone seminar 1 and 2 back to back. So those are the courses that you take in the program. In the Homeland Security track, you'll take Budgeting and Public Service, Public Management, and Fundamentals of Homeland Security. And then you choose 3 electives from a list of Homeland Security electives. Whereas if you're in the nonprofit track, you take Foundations of the Nonprofit Sector, Management and Leadership of Nonprofit Organizations, and Fiscal Management for Nonprofits. And then you choose from a listing of electives in the nonprofit management area. Public Management track, you take Budgeting and Public Service, Public Management, and the Foundations of the Nonprofit Sector, and then 3 electives from a listing of electives in Public Management. And we've talked a little bit about how our online courses, how they're structured. So as mentioned, there's no class meeting times where you actually have to drop everything and attend, with the exception, of course, of the 2 weeks in residence. You'll often have a faculty member who will have office hours, and they offer those online and live. So if you do want to take advantage of those online live office hours, you can do so. You will have to make a virtual presentation for that final capstone presentation. So you'll have to keep that in mind. Our courses are very interactive. So we have online lectures, discussion board questions where you'll be talking as a group every week. And usually there's, like I said, 2 to 3 questions. So you'll be posting on the threaded discussion all week. So keep that in mind. And we also have textbooks. Some courses may have 2 or 3 textbooks. Others may offer the resources all electronically, but no matter what, you'll still have a hefty reading load. We also offer some of those online office hours that I mentioned, and you'll still have deadlines. So every week in your courses, you'll have deadlines, and you've got to participate. You can't, these are not self-paced, so you have to actually be sure you write all your deadlines on your calendar and make sure that you meet those deadlines and participate. And it's taught by the experts in the field with those requisite academic credentials. It is rigorous, but it is absolutely achievable. And one of the notes that I wanted to share with you was that we do typically, because a frequently asked question what we get is, how many courses do I take as a student? Now, for fall and spring, in order to be eligible for financial aid, our students will take 2 courses fall, 2 in the spring, so they can qualify for financial aid. However, if financial aid isn't an issue, we sometimes have students who will take just 1 course a semester. We do recommend, typically most students, I think, take 2 courses a semester. We do have some who manage to work their schedule so they can take 3, but we always warn the perspective or the student that 3 is a heavy load, so just be cautious. So the 2 is a good way to start. So typically about 2 a semester. Our support services include 24-hour, 7-day-a-week technical support, as well as Canvas support. Canvas is our learning management system. So you go to a website, log into Canvas, and you access your courses that way. We have excellent library services here at Texas A&M University, services such as chat with a librarian. We have something called Get It For Me, where if the article is not in the immediately available in a PDF, the librarians will get it for you and send it to you electronically. We also have wonderful career services, both through Texas A&M University and the Bush School of Government and Public Service, Bush School of Government and Public Service. So we'll connect you with alumni, have similar positions that you're aiming for, or we'll provide you resources such as resume reviews. If you want to format your resume for a certain career path, we'll help you with that. So we have some outstanding career services. We also have wonderful alumni networking groups. We have Bush School alumni networking groups, Texas A&M alumni networking groups. We have a writing center for both the Bush School and Texas A&M University. We have our online enrollment advising center and recruitment center. And also there are wonderful counseling resources through Texas A&M University. Our students receive invitation to events on campus in case they're in the area and they want to take advantage of that. And then we also offer recorded webinars from our various speakers that come in or research institutes as well. And at the end, when you have completed your Executive Master of Public Service and Administration, we invite you to attend Texas A&M University graduation in Reed Arena. And we also have a Bush School graduation celebration that we invite our graduates to as well. It's not required that you attend a graduation, but highly recommended so we can celebrate your success of earning your Executive Master's degree. One of the biggest reasons why, of course, that students pursue their master's is they're working towards some sort of advancement, career advancement, or even just increased knowledge in their field, such as nonprofit management or homeland security or public management. So when you're looking at the EMPSA program, we highly recommend that our students consider their professional experience, their volunteer experience, and their goals and objectives when they're looking at what track they want to pursue, because all that information will help you decide on whether you want to pursue homeland security, nonprofit management, or the public management track. So look at your career goals and your objectives, and that can really help you decide on which track. Also, when you do complete your EMPSA program, we definitely want to promote your educational achievement and to be sure that so for example, we offer electronic badging when our students complete their master's, so they can add that to their various social media accounts. And so that's another great opportunity with the EMPSA program. To advance in your career, you want to network with your faculty and peers, but also utilize the Bush School career counseling resources. And that can be a great way that you can seek that advancement. Some examples of students, they have received promotions while in the program because their leadership is so excited that they're pursuing more education through Texas A&M University and the Bush School. We have had individuals who've moved from assistant director positions to executive director positions in the nonprofits that they're working with. Some have used the knowledge in their program to obtain grant funding for their nonprofit. And then we have others who've transitioned to another field. So, for example, they went from fire service to training or the teaching field because we've even had individuals who retire from the military and then utilize the EMPSA to get them into another career path. So those are some ways that EMPSA has positively impacted students, both in the Homeland Security field, helping students secure federal positions or state positions. We've had students who go into the Department of Homeland Security after they successfully complete their EMPSA program. So a lot of career advancement, and then some use it to change fields from one place to another. But what I would like to do now is ask David Coatney to say a few words on what he gained from the EMPSA program and what he thinks are some of the biggest benefits of the program.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Hi, and welcome to this overview of the Texas A&M Bush School of Government Masters in Public Safety Administration. I know those of you who are looking at this are looking at the EMPSA version, which is the one that I actually went to. And from my perspective, I already had a master's degree. I have a master's degree in organizational management and theory. And this really was an extension of what I've done most of my career. So have the majority of my career spent in the fire service, about 34 years. And prior to coming to work at Texas A&M, I was the fire chief of the Dallas Fire Department. And I was recruited to come here to be the executive director of the Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service, which is a primarily workforce development program that has a heavy emphasis on training public safety professionals. The best way to think of TEEX is we really don't do anything related to engineering other than the fact that it's in our name. That's just the family we report to within the A&M system. But every discipline that you see that works at a municipality or a county, we train to those disciplines with a heavy emphasis in the public safety arena. So I had a pretty good background already of working in this space, and I've always had an interest in Homeland Security. I've attended programs at the Naval Postgraduate School, their Executive Leaders Program, and I was in their master's program for Homeland Security there. And I had to take a leave of absence when I took this position. During that leave of absence, I started to explore other educational opportunities outside of the Naval Postgraduate Homeland Security, and I landed on the Bush School of Government's program. A lot of things drew me to this program, but principally the ability of an online program was good for my career at the time. It was flexible. It allowed me the opportunity to continue my work, which can be demanding and challenging at my level, as well as pursue the opportunity to further my education. It also provided me more connectivity back to the university that I actually was working for at the time. So those two things together were really good for me. But really what made me land here and decide not to go back to Naval Postgraduate School was the caliber of the instructors that are here, the quality of the students that come into here, and what you can learn from both the professors, the support staff from the Bush School, and the other students who attend this group. The level of knowledge, intellect, drive really was something that was very impressive by all the students I went through it with, and desire to really make a difference in not just this program, but in what they do for a living amazed me, and it energized me. And so this program really allowed me to laser focus on something that's always been of interest to me, but hear from so many different partners across the spectrum. Because when you take a lot of the core courses, they may not be focused necessarily on Homeland Security. They're focused on public service administration. And so you'll have folks who are interested in nonprofit, you'll have folks that are interested in public management, and then obviously the Homeland Security track. And the sharing of this knowledge across the spectrum was impressive. Then what really stood out to me was, as you start to work through this, the flexibility allowed in the program and the way you do deliverables. And make no mistake about it, there are still things that are set up to where you're constantly engaged. Coming into an online program, a lot of people think that there may be some level of disconnection in it, and that you only hear occasionally from your professors or the other students. That couldn't be further from the truth of this program. This program is set up to where you are engaged with your other students in the class and the professors at least a couple of times a week through chats. And they're very relevant, and they keep engaged during this time. And, you're writing your own chats and posts, and you're having to respond to a certain number as well during the process. And it really forms a cohesion that you don't often find in other online programs. And so that's something I think you should look at. But at the end of the day, you are going to Texas A&M. So there's a lot of academic rigor built into this program. When you earn that ring, this ring, you feel valued in it. It wasn't given to you. You earned it. You earned the right to wear it. And you are part of the Aggie network and the A&M family. But you will enjoy coming to this class. You will enjoy the learning environment. And the takeaways you get from this will take you a long way in what you plan to do in the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David. We sure appreciate your comments. I want to open up. Does anyone have any questions for David? If you do, please put those in the chat. So if you have any questions, please put those in the chat for David. And while you are thinking of your questions, I'm going to talk about who can apply to the EMPSA program. So you do have to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. You also have to have that 5 years public service experience, and that's cumulative. And you have to have 3 years at the mid to upper level. That means managing people or managing budgets. Definitely when you apply, I highly recommend that you highlight in your resume your supervisory, management, budgetary experience, but also your public service experience. Do your best to make it clear that, yes, my resume demonstrates the 5 years public service experience, as well as the 3 years mid to upper level management experience. So please be sure to make that clear in your resume. Also highlight any track-related experience. So if you have experience in public management, Homeland Security, nonprofit management, that's another good thing to put on your resume in the application process. The application process includes the Texas A&M University Graduate CAS application, and we'll be sending you the links next week as a follow-up so that you can start on your application process if you have not started on that process already. There is an application fee of $89 for a domestic application, $114 for the international application. You will also send us your official transcripts to Texas A&M University, and you'll upload into that graduate CAS your unofficial transcripts. You will send us your resume. So the professional resume is a part of that process. And if you'll recall in the resume, I mentioned to be sure to make it clear your public service experience as well as your mid to upper level experience. You'll also write a statement of purpose essay and submit that as well. And you'll submit 3 recommendation letters. If your native language is not English, then you'll submit a TOEFL or an IELTS score. Now, the GRE is optional. If you already have the GRE and you did well and would like to submit it, by all means, do so. But you don't have to go out and take the GRE unless you scored below a grade point of 3.2. So if you did in your bachelor's to score below that, then we recommend the GRE or GMAT. Or if you need to strengthen your application. So let's say you had an undergraduate performance lapse or a C or below in statistics and math-based courses. And the reason why we say that is because there is that quantitative methods course. And so we want to know that you're prepared to take that. Also, if you have a component of your application that is weak, a good score can offset that. So that's the cases where we would recommend the GRE or GMAT. If you don't have one, you're still more than welcome to apply. It's just in these specific cases that GRE score can strengthen your application package. Also, applications. We accept applications each semester. So we accept them fall, spring, and summer. The deadline for spring 2024 entry, so if you want to get started in the spring, you would submit all your application materials by November 19th by midnight Central Time. And keep in mind, the spring 2024 has the residency week in College Station, Texas. If you want to apply for the summer, that deadline would be March 17th, 2024 by midnight. So those are upcoming application deadlines. The estimated cost per course for 23-24 is, and that cost is based on whether you're a Texas resident or an out-of-state resident living out of state. So in-state Texas residents pay approximately $2,703 a course, and then non-residents living out of state pay approximately $4,418 a course. And then there are some other charges that we list. You'll pay a one-time general deposit of $100 on your first semester's bill and a one-time new graduate student fee of $50. And then distance education students in Brazos County pay $320 a semester, and that is in order so that you can use things like the Student Recreation Center, the Student Health Center, and some of those services at Texas A&M University. International students also have a service fee of $46 a semester and a fee for a third-party sponsored international students, which leads us to how can I pay for my EMPSA program? Well, the first thing that we advise is definitely fill out the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. And you can do that now, even before you are admitted to a program. The FAFSA will help identify what you are eligible for as far as grants and any student loan funding. So highly recommend it. Even if you think, oh, I don't think I'll qualify for anything because I have a full-time job, go ahead and fill it out, because the school also takes into consideration the cost of the program. So it's good to just check and see what you may be eligible for. If you are a veteran, if you're currently active duty or you have served in the military, we highly recommend you contact our Texas A&M University Veteran Services to see if you're eligible for any tuition programs or the Hazelwood exemption or things of that nature. So highly recommend contacting our Veteran Services. They are wonderful. Also, we have a need-based Bush School Online Student Scholarship for Texas residents. You have to complete the FAFSA to be eligible for that, but that can also provide some support as well. Our students are eligible too for the Texas Aggie Grant. And again, you have to complete that FAFSA though, so we can determine your eligibility and how much you may be eligible for. I also advise prospective students to check with professional organizations that they're a member of and see if they have any scholarship opportunities or offer scholarships. We also have a Texas A&M University scholarships and waivers website that you can look and see if you're eligible for any of those scholarships or waivers. And finally, check with your place of employment and see if there's any tuition reimbursement programs or scholarship programs with your place of employment. So those are some good options to look into that can really help fund your EMPSA program. But last but not least, connect with us. Whether you decide to apply to the program or not, we'd love to see you following us on Facebook, learning more about us through the posts that we make on Facebook. Also, you're welcome to join us on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, or just keep up with our website. And we'd love for you to connect with us. So thank you for joining us for the online Executive Master of Public Service and Administration Program information session. We appreciate your time and visiting with us.